I come home with groceries in both arms and my key won't turn in the lock. I try again. Harder this time, jiggling the key the way I've done 1,000 times when it sticks. Nothing. Then I see it. A brand new deadbolt. Shiny brass that catches the afternoon sun like a smile that doesn't belong on my door. My heart starts pounding before my brain catches up to what I'm seeing. From inside my house, I hear my husband Brian's voice. Calm. Too calm. The way he sounds when he's talking about weather or what's for dinner. Just leave the bags there, Elaine. We need to talk. My stomach drops. The grocery bags feel suddenly heavy, cutting into my palms. Why is the lock changed? My voice comes out higher than I want it to. A woman's voice answers before Brian does. His mother, Caroline. Because we had to protect the house from bad decisions. I stare at my own front door. The door I've walked through for 21 years. The door I painted sage green 3 summers ago. The door with the brass numbers I installed myself. My groceries are melting. Ice cream dripping through the plastic bag onto my porch. Brian opens the door. Just a crack. Just enough for me to see his face but not enough to let me in. He says, "You can't come in right now." I'm Elaine. I'm 57 years old. I've lived in this house for 21 years. I paid the mortgage when Brian's business failed 6 years ago. I refinanced when his credit couldn't handle it. I stayed when leaving would have been easier, cleaner, safer for my heart. Caroline has always treated my stability like it was luck. Like I just happened to be good with money, happened to keep my job, happened to make smart choices. She's never once acknowledged that it was work. Hard work, constant work. Standing here on my porch, locked out of my own life, the truth hits me like cold water. They didn't change the lock for safety, they changed it for control. Caroline steps into view behind Brian. She's holding a folder. My folder, the one I keep important documents in. The one that lives in my filing cabinet in my office. She has my folder in her hands. "We can do this the easy way or the hard way," Caroline says. Her voice is pleasant, reasonable. The voice she uses when she's about to tell you something terrible and pretend it's for your own good. Brian won't look at me. He stares at a spot somewhere over my shoulder. The ice cream is definitely ruined now. I can feel it dripping onto my shoe. Caroline speaks to me like I'm an employee she's firing. Professional, detached, almost kind. "We're moving forward with a plan, Elaine." Brian agrees. "You've been emotional lately. We think it's best if we handle certain matters for you." I ask, "What plan?" My voice sounds small. I hate how small it sounds. Brian won't meet my eyes. He's looking at the porch railing, the street, anywhere but at me. "Mom's helping us restructure," he says. Restructure. Another word for erase. Caroline flips open the folder, my folder, and shows me a paper. The header reads, "Temporary Occupancy Agreement." I scan the first paragraph. My name is there, but not as owner, as occupant. Temporary occupant of my own home. "This is a formality," Caroline says, "just to make things cleaner while we sort out the financial situation." I keep reading. My hands are shaking so badly the paper blurs. Then I see it. The property description. Listed as property of Caroline Whitmore Family Trust. My house. My home that I've paid for, maintained, protected. Listed as belonging to Caroline's trust. "That's not true," I say. Caroline smiles. She's been waiting for that. I can see it in her eyes. "It is now." Brian adds, his voice weak, almost apologetic. "It's just to make things easier with the bank, Elaine. Mom explained it all. It's temporary." The bank. My throat tightens. A cold feeling spreads through my chest. "What did you do?" I ask. Caroline answers, proud, like she's announcing something she's accomplished. "We spoke with your lender. We're protecting Brian's future. Someone had to be responsible. Protecting Brian's future. Not our future. Not my future. Brian's." I look at my husband. 23 years of marriage. 2 decades of building a life together. Of working when he couldn't. Of believing when he gave up. Of staying. "Brian, what did you tell them?" He finally looks at me. His eyes are red. Has he been crying? Or is it guilt? "They think you're a risk, Elaine." The words land like stones, each one heavier than the last. A risk. I'm a risk. I've worked at the same company for 19 years. I've never missed a mortgage payment. I've never bounced a check. I've been the stable one, the reliable one, the one holding everything together. And now I'm a risk. A risk is how they label me because I asked questions about money lately. 2 months ago, Caroline slid some papers across my kitchen table. Just sign here, she'd said. It's for estate planning. I'd asked to read them first. Asked what they were for. Asked why my name needed to be on documents about Brian's mother's estate. Caroline had looked at me like I'd insulted her. Don't you trust family? I didn't sign. I said I wanted to think about it. That's when I became emotional. That's when I became difficult. That's when I became a risk. I can feel my hands shaking, but my voice comes out steady. Stronger than I feel. I'm not leaving my house. Caroline's expression doesn't change. You're not leaving, dear. You're being relocated. Just temporarily. Until we get the finances sorted out. Relocated where? I've arranged a short-term rental. Very nice. Much more manageable than this big house. You'll be more comfortable. Brian adds, it's already paid for. First and last month. I stare at him. You paid for an apartment for me to move into? Mom paid for it. Of course she did. Caroline checks her watch. Expensive. Gold. A gift from Brian last Christmas that I'm certain he put on a credit card. You have 48 hours to pack your essentials and move to the rental. I don't beg. I don't scream. I don't collapse on my own porch crying. I very carefully set down my grocery bags. The ice cream is completely liquid now. The frozen vegetables are soft. Then I pull out my phone and call the police non-emergency line. Caroline's eyebrows go up. Elaine, that's dramatic. I hold up one finger. Wait. An officer arrives 20 minutes later. He's young, professional. He listens to my explanation while Caroline and Brian watch from the doorway. Ma'am, he says carefully, this is a civil matter. Property dispute between spouses. Unless you're on the deed, I can't force entry. My heart stutters. Of course I'm on the deed. I'm on the mortgage. I'm on everything. I go to my car, open the glove compartment where I keep important documents. My registration, insurance card, the file folder with copies of the deed, the mortgage, the home insurance policy. I pull out the folder. It feels too light. I open it. My deed copy is missing. The mortgage papers are there. The insurance declaration page is there. But the actual deed, the document showing ownership, is gone. I demand entry to retrieve my personal documents. Caroline refuses. Everything important is being organized and secured for everyone's protection. The officer looks uncomfortable. Ma'am, can you at least let her get essential personal items? Clothing, toiletries? Brian finally speaks up. Yeah, that's fine. He steps aside like he's doing me a favor. Like he's being generous, letting me into my own home. I walk through my front door feeling like a stranger, like a guest, like someone who doesn't belong here. Inside, everything looks the same but feels different. Violated. My filing cabinet in the home office is open. The drawers I always keep locked are pulled out, papers rifled through. My mortgage documents are gone. My deed copies, I had two, one in the cabinet and one in the fire safe, both gone. My home insurance policy original, my property tax records, all gone. Caroline stands in the doorway watching me. You misplace things, Elaine. You always have. I'm just helping organize, making sure important documents don't get lost. I turn to look at her. This woman who has never lived in my house, never paid my bills, never had any legal right to anything I own. She's smiling. On my desk, I see a FedEx envelope, already sealed, address label facing up. Addressed to the county recorder's office. I don't rip it open. Every instinct screams at me to tear into it, to see what they're filing, to stop whatever this is. But I don't. Instead, I photograph it. The address, the tracking number, the sealed flap. I take pictures from multiple angles with my phone. I note the tracking number in my phone's notes app. I keep my hands steady because I understand something now. This isn't a family argument. This isn't a misunderstanding or a disagreement about finances. This is a paper game. A legal game. And I need to play it carefully. I gather what I can. My passport from the safe, my marriage certificate, my tax returns from the past 3 years. Every bank statement I can find in the drawers they haven't emptied yet. I put everything in a canvas bag I grab from the closet. Caroline watches every move. Taking what doesn't belong to you is theft, Elaine. I don't respond. Don't engage. As I walk toward the front door with my bag, she steps in front of me. Tomorrow, the sale papers get signed. With or without you. Sale papers. They're selling my house. I sleep at my sister's house that night. Or I try to sleep. Mostly I stare at the ceiling of her guest room, my mind racing through 21 years of memories, of mortgage payments and home repairs and garden projects and the life I built. In the morning, my sister gives me a name. Patricia Yang. A family law attorney her friend used during a difficult divorce. She's tough, my sister says, but fair, and she doesn't get intimidated. I meet Patricia at her office at 10. She's in her early 60s, silver hair cut short, sharp eyes that miss nothing. I tell her everything. The changed locks, the missing documents, the FedEx envelope, the temporary occupancy agreement, and the claim about the family trust. She listens without interrupting, takes notes in neat handwriting. When I'm done, she sets down her pen and looks at me. Elaine, they changed your locks. They removed your documents from your home. They're filing something with the county. This isn't emotional. This isn't a family squabble. This is coordinated. The word coordinated makes my stomach clench. Coordinated how? Patricia leans forward. Someone is planning something specific, and they need you out of the way to do it. She asks one question that makes my mouth go dry. Is Brian in debt? We pulled Brian's credit report through legal disclosure channels. Because we're married, Patricia can request it as part of potential divorce proceedings. What comes back is a punch to the lungs. Loans I never knew about, lines of credit maxed out, cash advances from credit cards, signature loans from online lenders. Not a rough patch, an avalanche. How much? I whisper. Patricia's finger moves down the screen, including the home equity line, approximately $230,000. I can't breathe. Brian hasn't worked full-time in 3 years. I've been the primary income. I thought we were okay. Tight, but okay. He's been hiding this? It appears so. Patricia clicks through more documents. And Elaine? Caroline is trying to shield assets from creditors by shifting ownership. If your home is moved into her trust before creditors can place liens, it's protected. That's fraud. That's why they need it to look legitimate. Patricia points at one particular loan on the screen. This one. See the collateral description? I read it. My vision blurs. Secured against real property at my address, my home. The house was used as collateral. 11. I feel physically sick. Dizzy. Like the room is tilting. I didn't know, I say. I had no idea the house was used as collateral. Patricia's voice is gentle but firm. That means there were signatures, loan documents, closing papers. I didn't sign anything. Her face tightens. Then we request the originals. Immediately. She makes calls right there from her office, files emergency requests, sends formal notices to the lender disputing any instrument bearing my signature. Within 3 hours, we have a response. The lender's attorney sends copies of the loan documents. We have properly executed and notarized documents bearing Mrs. Peterson's signature. Patricia prints them out, spreads them on her desk. There's my name, typed neatly at the signature line. And above it, a signature. My signature, or something that looks like it. I stare until my eyes burn. The loops are right, the slant is close, even the little hook I make on the capital E, but it's not mine. I didn't write this. I've never seen these documents before in my life. It's forged, I whisper. Patricia nods slowly. We don't just accuse, we prove. She picks up her phone again. Patricia hires a handwriting expert, someone who testifies in court cases, whose analysis holds up under scrutiny. We send samples of my real signature, from checks, from tax returns, from the marriage certificate. Then we request the notary records. Every notarization requires a log entry, date, time, type of document, identification verified. The notary stamp on the loan documents belongs to someone named Angela Brennan. Patricia runs a search. Angela Brennan works at the Oak Hills Country Club, Caroline's country club. The one where she plays tennis every Tuesday and has lunch with the ladies every Friday. The handwriting expert's preliminary report comes back in 3 days. Signature exhibits characteristics consistent with simulation or tracing, pressure patterns inconsistent with natural writing, high probability of forgery. Patricia looks up from the report. We have enough to proceed. Proceed with what? With exposing what they did and protecting what's yours. That night, Caroline calls me. Not Brian. Caroline. Her voice is fury wrapped in ice. You involved outsiders. Attorneys, you're embarrassing this family. You locked me out of my home, and I'd do it again. No pretense now. No pleasant voice, just raw anger. Then she says something that makes everything click into place. Brian's debts die with the marriage if you leave. I sit with those words after she hangs up. Brian's debts die with the marriage if you leave. They want a divorce. A specific kind of divorce. One where I walk away, where Brian gets to keep whatever assets Caroline has managed to hide, where creditors can't touch what's been moved into her trust. They want me gone. Clean, fast. Before anyone can examine too closely, I stop reacting and start building. A timeline, dates of conversations, dates Caroline visited, the day 2 months ago when she tried to get me to sign those papers. The day the locks changed, the day the FedEx envelope appeared. I gather emails, text messages, bank statements, the receipt from when I had to buy new groceries because the first ones melted on my porch. Every piece of evidence, every moment, every detail. Patricia files for a protective order preventing transfer or sale of marital property pending resolution of ownership questions. We also file a motion for court-ordered access to the home to retrieve property and secure documents. The court date is in 8 days, Patricia tells me. Can you wait 8 days? Do I have a choice? She almost smiles. No, but I'm asking anyway. I checked the FedEx tracking number on my phone. The envelope was delivered to the county recorder's office 3 days ago. Whatever they filed is already in tag. The courtroom is smaller than I expected. Beige walls, fluorescent lights, the smell of old coffee and anxiety. Caroline shows up dressed like respectability itself. Navy suit, pearls, sensible heels. She looks like someone's kind grandmother. Someone who bakes cookies and volunteers at church. Brian stands beside her. He's lost weight, dark circles under his eyes. He looks like a teenager caught cheating on a test. They sit on one side of the aisle. I sit on the other with Patricia. The judge is a woman in her 50s, Judge Ramona Hughes. She has reading glasses on a chain and an expression that suggests she's heard every story twice. Caroline's attorney speaks first, paints me as unstable. Difficult. Someone who storms off during family discussions. Someone who can't manage finances responsibly. Patricia stands. Her voice is calm, almost conversational. Your Honor, if Mrs. Peterson can't manage finances, why was she the one paying the mortgage for the past 6 years while her husband's business failed? Caroline's smile flickers. Just for a second, Patricia continues. Why was she the one maintaining stable employment? Why was she the one whose credit was used, without her knowledge, to secure loans? The judge makes a note. Patricia presents our motion. Asks for a temporary freeze on any sale or transfer of the property. Asks for verification of ownership. Caroline's attorney objects. The property has been properly transferred. Then proving that won't be a problem, Patricia says. Judge Hughes looks over her glasses. I'm ordering a temporary freeze on any sale, transfer, or encumbrance of the property in question, pending verification of ownership. I want to see deed records, trust documents, and proof of authority. Caroline's attorney nods. We can provide that, Your Honor. 3 days later, we're back in court. Caroline's attorney slides a document across to the judge. Then to Patricia. Trust deed, he says. Executed and recorded 4 months ago, transferring the property at the address in question into the Caroline Whitmore Family Trust. My heart pounds. 4 months ago. I look at the document. It's official looking, stamped, notarized, my signature at the bottom. Patricia leans close. Did you sign this? No. She picks up the document, studies it, turns it over, then she points at something. Your Honor, the recording stamp. The format doesn't match current county recorder stamps. Caroline's attorney shifts. It's an older format. May I request verification from the county recorder's office? Patricia asks. Judge Hughes nods. Granted. We'll recess until that verification is complete. We wait in the hallway. 20 minutes. 40. An hour. Finally, Patricia's phone rings. She listens, makes notes. Her expression doesn't change. She hangs up and looks at me. The county recorder confirms no valid transfer was recorded on the date Caroline's document claims. The document number on her deed belongs to a completely different property filing. What does that mean? It means the deed is fake. Back in the courtroom, Patricia presents the recorder's findings. Caroline's face goes pale. Actually pale, the color draining like someone pulled a plug. Brian finally speaks. His voice is desperate, cracking. Mom was just trying to help. She was trying to protect. Protect what? Patricia's voice is calm as stone. By filing false documents? By forging signatures? Helping doesn't involve fraud, Mr. Peterson. Judge Hughes removes her glasses. Mrs. Whitmore, this is a serious allegation. Do you have an explanation for why a document purporting to transfer property was never actually recorded with the county? Caroline's attorney whispers something to her. She shakes her head. There must be a clerical error. The transfer was legitimate. My attorney handled it. Which attorney? The judge asks. Caroline hesitates. I'd need to check my records. You don't remember which attorney handled a significant property transfer 4 months ago? Silence. Judge Hughes makes several notes. I'm ordering the property returned to its prior legal status pending investigation of these discrepancies. Mrs. Peterson is granted immediate access to the residence. Mr. Peterson and Mrs. Whitmore are prohibited from changing locks, removing documents, or interfering with Mrs. Peterson's access. I almost can't breathe. Furthermore, I'm referring the questioned documents to the district attorney's office for review. If there's evidence of forgery or fraud, that's a criminal matter. Caroline's attorney stands quickly. Your Honor, I think. Court is adjourned. I return to my house with a court officer, a sheriff's deputy there to ensure compliance with the judge's order. The new deadbolt is still there. Shiny. Wrong. Brian answers the door, won't look at the deputy, hands him a key. Inside, the house feels violated, like someone broke in. Which, I suppose, they did. Drawers are open in my office. My closet has been disturbed. Things moved, searched. Caroline's perfume lingers in my bedroom. She was in here, going through my things. On the dining room table I find a folder. The label says Exit Plan in Caroline's handwriting. I open it. Inside are draft documents, a separation agreement, a property settlement, a quitclaim deed with my signature line blank, waiting. And at the bottom, a divorce filing, already prepared, dated 2 weeks ago, before they even changed the locks. This was always the plan. Lock me out, pressure me, make me sign away my rights, file for divorce on their terms, get me out of the way before Brian's creditors could reach marital assets. Brian corners me in the kitchen while the deputy is checking the other rooms. His eyes are red. He's been crying. Elaine, please, I was ashamed. I didn't know how to tell you about the debt. Mom said she could fix everything. She said she'd handle it and we could start fresh. By forging my signature? I didn't know she was going to do that. I swear I didn't know. But you knew about the locks. You knew about hiding my documents. You knew about the exit plan. He looks at the floor. She said it was temporary, just until we could restructure. Did you know about the forged signature on the loan documents? He hesitates. That hesitation is an answer. Brian, my voice is steady, calmer than I feel. Did you know? She said you'd signed something years ago giving her power of attorney. She said it was legitimate. I never signed a power of attorney for your mother. I know that now. You knew it then. You just chose to believe her. My phone rings, Patricia. The handwriting expert's full report, she says. Can you come to the office? I look at Brian. This man I've been married to for 23 years. This stranger, I'll be right there. The expert's report is 14 pages long. Detailed analysis, comparison charts, magnified images showing pressure points and pen angles. The conclusion is clear. The signature on the disputed loan documents was likely traced or simulated. Characteristics inconsistent with natural handwriting. High probability of forgery. Patricia sends the findings to the lender and files them with the court. This isn't a marital dispute anymore, she says. This is documented fraud. The question is, who committed it? Within 2 hours, Caroline's attorney calls Patricia. Not me, not Brian. Patricia, my client would like to propose a settlement to resolve this matter quietly without further legal action. Patricia puts him on speaker so I can hear. What kind of settlement? Mrs. Zepp Whitmore is willing to compensate Mrs. Peterson for any misunderstandings in exchange for a release of claims and a commitment to move forward with dissolution of the marriage under agreed terms. How much compensation? Patricia asks. $50,000. I almost laugh. They want to pay me $50,000 to walk away from a house worth $300,000, to ignore fraud, to disappear quietly. Where is the cashier's check your client had made payable to herself? Patricia asks. Silence on the other end. I'm sorry? The check, the one secured against my client's home equity. Where is it? More silence. I'd need to ask my client. Patricia looks at me, raises her eyebrows. That means she's trying to move it. Just as I think the house is safe, everything shifts again. The lender sends a notice. Certified mail. Official letterhead. Due to irregularities discovered in the loan documentation and ongoing investigation into potentially fraudulent instruments, we may be required to call the loan due immediately. My stomach drops. Even if I'm right, even if I prove the forgery, even if I keep my house, the lender doesn't want the risk. They don't want the chaos. They could demand full payment, the entire balance. Money I don't have. Patricia reads the letter carefully. This is where you win by being cleaner than them. What do you mean? You've been paying, on time, every month. You have stable employment. You've never missed a payment. Brian's debt is his problem. Your record is clean. She drafts a response, a structured plan, offering to refinance in my name only, removing Brian from the loan, demonstrating my stable income and payment history. We negotiate directly, she says. Show them you're the safe bet. The lender agrees to a meeting. We sit across from their attorney and a loan officer. I present my employment verification, my payment history, my plan to refinance. I understand your concern, I say. But I'm not the risk. I've been the one paying. I'll continue paying. I just need Brian removed from control. They agree. Conditional approval for refinancing in my name only. Brian has to sign off on it. Caroline doesn't give up quietly. She calls relatives, cousins I haven't spoken to in years. Brian's uncle in Florida. My own brother, who hasn't returned my calls in months. She paints me as greedy, vindictive, throwing Brian under the bus, destroying the family over money. Some believe her. I can see it in their social media posts, vague statements about family loyalty and money changing people. Some don't. They stay quiet. Wait, then my sister finds something. She's searching online for something else entirely and stumbles across old court records, a lawsuit from 8 years ago. Caroline Whitmore versus Susan Whitmore estate. Susan was Brian's aunt, his father's sister. She died 8 years ago, and there was a dispute about her property. Caroline claimed Susan had promised her the house, had signed documents, had wanted Caroline to have it. The judge ruled against Caroline, found the documents questionable, found her claims unsupported. Caroline doesn't just bully, she repeats. My sister forwards me the court records. I read them in my car, parked in a grocery store parking lot. The pattern is identical. Documents appearing, pressure, locks, claims of trust ownership. My phone rings, unknown number. I answer anyway. Elaine? A woman's voice, older, uncertain. This is Nancy, Brian's cousin. Hi, Nancy. I heard what's happening with Caroline in the house, and I needed to tell you something. She pauses. Caroline did this to Aunt Susan too. Patricia arranges mediation, neutral location, professional mediator. Everyone's attorneys present. Caroline arrives with practiced tears already forming. She dabs at her eyes with a tissue before we even sit down. Brian arrives looking smaller than I've ever seen him, defeated. The mediator explains the process. Everyone gets to speak. We try to find resolution. Caroline goes first. Her voice trembles. I just wanted to help my son, to protect him. Elaine has made this so difficult, so combative. All I wanted was to keep the family together. She looks at me. Let's stop hurting each other. My turn. I keep my voice calm. Even. You started hurting me when you changed my locks, when you stole my documents, when you forged my signature, when you tried to steal my home. Patricia lays out terms. Return all missing documents. Stop all interference. Formal acknowledgement of my property rights. Brian must accept responsibility for his debts and remove himself from any claim to the house. Caroline's attorney whispers to her. She shakes her head. These terms are unreasonable, her attorney says. My client has already offered substantial compensation. We're not negotiating compensation, Patricia says. We're establishing facts. Either Mrs. Whitmore acknowledges the truth, or we proceed with formal findings. In court, on the record. Caroline's voice cracks, not with sadness, with rage. You'll ruin us. I meet her eyes. You tried to ruin me first. The court orders are clear and final. I regain full access and control over my home and all accounts related to it. Brian is ordered into a structured repayment plan for his debts, supervised, with full disclosure requirements. Caroline is formally barred from acting on my behalf, accessing my property, or representing herself as having any authority over my assets. No screaming headlines, no dramatic spectacle, just consequences. The sweetest part isn't the money or the house or even the victory. It's sitting in that courtroom and hearing Judge Hughes say what I've wanted said for years. Mrs. Whitmore, you are not the owner. You are not the trustee. You do not get to decide what happens to property that isn't yours. Caroline sits frozen. The practiced tears are gone. Just naked anger. That night, Brian calls. Elaine, please, don't leave. We can fix this. I'll get help. I'll handle my mother. I'll do whatever you need. Brian, I needed you 6 months ago. I needed you when your mother showed up with papers. I needed you when she changed my locks. I needed you when she forged my name. I know, I'm sorry. Sorry isn't enough. What do you want from me? Nothing. That's the point. I don't want anything from you anymore. I tell Brian the truth, not to hurt him, just because it's true. I wanted a partner, someone who would stand beside me, someone who would choose me when it mattered. I was afraid you chose your mother. Every single time you chose her. The divorce is clean, fair. My attorney makes sure of it. I keep the house because I paid for it, maintained it, protected it, because it's mine. Brian keeps his debts, works out a repayment plan, moves in with Caroline, which seems fitting. I don't celebrate his pain. I don't gloat. I don't post about it online or tell everyone who'll listen. I just end it. Boundaries, fairness, safety. Caroline loses her favorite power, access. Access to my life, my home, my decisions. And that's the revenge that stays righteous. I don't destroy her. I simply stop being available to her control. I change all my locks. Real locks this time, good ones. I update my will, my power of attorney, my beneficiaries, everything in my name only. I rebuild my filing system. Everything documented, everything backed up, everything protected. 6 months later, I'm sitting on my porch, with morning coffee. The house is quiet. The mortgage is in my name, the locks are mine. A neighbor waves. Good morning, Elaine. Good morning. Just me, just my name, just my life. Finally. I learned things in the aftermath that I wish I'd known before. I learned that betrayal doesn't always come with shouting. Sometimes it comes with a smile and a new lock on your door. Sometimes it comes from the people who are supposed to love you most. I learned that asking questions isn't emotional, it's smart. That wanting to read what you sign isn't difficult, it's necessary. I learned that trust without verification is just vulnerability in disguise. The final lesson lands clean and true. When someone tries to take your power, your home, your safety, documentation is your weapon, truth is your shield, boundaries are your salvation. A year later, I run into Nancy, Brian's cousin, at a coffee shop. How are you, she asks. Good. Really good. I heard you kept the house. I did. She smiles. Good. You earned it. And Elaine? Thank you. For what? For fighting. For showing the rest of us that we can say no to Caroline, that we don't have to just accept it when she decides she knows better. I think about all the people Caroline has bulldozed over the years. All the quiet surrenders. All the times people gave in because fighting seemed too hard, too ugly, too impossible. You can always say no, I tell her. Even to family. Especially to family. I drive home to my house. Walk through my door, lock it behind me with my key, and I finally breathe.